Next, we're going to create our categories. You can do so by going to Category Manager here on the Control panel, or you can go up to Content and down to Category Manager. You'll notice when you load the Category Manager that there's already a category in here called Uncategorized. Now you can choose to keep that and have a category called Uncategorized, or as I'm about to do, rename it. I'm just going to change the name from Uncategorized just to Content, and I'm going to clear out the alias field because we want them to match. The alias field will auto-generate itself from the title, so you don't have to worry about filling that out. I'm going to leave everything else as default and click Save and Close. Now you can see the rename category. I now want to add some additional categories to the mix. To do that, we're going to go up and click New in the top menu bar. The first category I'm going to add is called Clients. This is where we're going to put all the client information. Now, because this is for the clients and we want it kept private, we're going to change the access from public to registered. This will ensure that users that don't have a registered account on the website won't be able to see this content. We're going to click Save and New. Next category we're going to put in is our common terms. Again, we're going to leave the alias blank because it'll auto-generate itself. Access can be left to public, and we're going to leave the description blank. I'm going to go click Save and New again. Add in our final category here, our work. Now this one's going to be a little different because we're actually going to put a description in here, and we'll go over why a little bit later when we get to the part where we build our menus. I'm just going to switch over to the website files for this little course. I'm going to click on the Our Work folder. I'm going to open up the Our Work text. As you can see, these files have HTML code in them already. I'm just going to copy and close this. I'm going to switch back to my web browser, and I'm going to click this little HTML button right here. This pops up the HTML source editor. All I need to do here is paste. Now you can see we've got the lorem ipsum text, which I've mentioned earlier is just filler text, but around that I've got this little p tag. This is called a paragraph tag in HTML. Now that the content is safely pasted in here, I'm just going to click Update. You can see in the editor window now that the HTML text is hidden. On your own website, you can go ahead and just type content directly into this box if you like. There's many different formatting options that you can use, such as bold, italics, and list options. I'm just going to go up and click Save and Close. Now that we have our 4 categories set up, we can go ahead and start populating the site with our articles. We can do that by clicking Articles in the top left corner here. We can go to the Content menu and choose Article Manager, or if you're at the Control panel, you can simply click Article Manager from there. The first article I'm going to go ahead and create is this Building Dreams, Laying Foundations from the main page. From the Article Manager, I'm going to go up to the top and click New. I'm going to give it its title. I'm going to leave alias blank. Because I want this to be on the main page, I'm also going to change featured from no to yes. I'm going to go down to the editor here. And again, I'm just going to switch back to this content I've downloaded. Go to the main page folder. I'm going to open the Building Dreams Laying Foundations file. Again, I'm going to copy the contents, switch back, go into the HTML source editor, and paste. Let's click on Update. Now, because there's some additional stuff I want to show you in here, I'm just going to click Save. By clicking Save, you can see that the article was saved, but it keeps us on this page. This is great for checking stuff out so you don't have to keep going back and forth between different pages. Let's just refresh our main page and see what happened when we posted that article. So you can see that article is now showing up on our main page, but it has some additional stuff like written by super user, the date, and the category, as well as a couple of icons in the top right corner. If we go back and look at what the final page is going to look like, none of this information is there. I want to show you how to remove that right now. While you're in the article, you can go under Article Options. In the article options, you can see that there's a bunch of drop downs beside show title, linked titles, show intro text, etc., etc. And they're currently all set to use global. If you wanted to do something like hide the category, we would change show category to hide. If we save this and refresh the main page, the category would no longer be showing. I'm going to show you a little bit different way to do it because we don't want this to show up on any of the articles that we're going to create. So I'm just going to click Close. Back at the article manager, I'm going to click Options in the top right corner. A modal window opens up that shows a bunch of tabs for the article manager options. From here, I'm going to turn off linked titles. I'm going to change show category to hide. I'm going to switch show author to hide. I'm going to hide the creation date, the modification date, the publication date, and the navigation. I'm going to hide the title with read more. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm also going to hide the icons, the print icon, the email icon, and the hits. When I'm done selecting all those, I'm going to go back up to the top and choose Save and Close. Now, by making this change in that options menu as opposed into the article itself, it is now global, meaning all the articles that we put in from here forth will not have that information. So you can see that you can be very granular with your control. You can do it on an article by article basis, or you can do things globally. Let's just refresh our page and see what happened. Let's go back and do some more. Before we go and add any additional articles here, let's go and finish building up that main page, shall we? To start, go back to the control panel. From the control panel, go into the Media Manager. When you load the Media Manager, you're going to see that there's some default content already in here. You've got a banners folder, a sample data folder, which contains some stuff that we're going to use a little bit later, and a couple of Joomla logos. We're going to go ahead and upload all of our images. Go down to the Upload Files box and click on Browse. Navigate to where you extracted the demo content and go into the Images folder. You can hold down Shift and select all these images and then click on Open. Click Start Upload and it'll go ahead and upload all of our images. As previously mentioned, you can see some of these images simply show up as squares with X's through them because I don't have the license to give you those images. They'll just be used as placeholders for now until you get images of your own. Now that these images have been uploaded, I'm going to go up to the Extensions menu and down to the Module Manager. In the Module Manager, you can see that there's some modules already in here and they're already enabled, despite not being able to see them on that home page. The reason for this is because that third-party template that we installed has different positions from the default template. So you can see breadcrumbs, main menu, and login form are already here, but they're not displayed. Let's start off by making some of those display in the correct positions. Before we go putting any modules in any positions, we need to know what those positions are. Just looking at the main page, you can't really tell anything. Remember when we were in the template settings and I made us enable that feature to turn on module positions? This is why. To see the module positions on any template, providing the option is turned on for you to see them, simply add index.php $TP equals 1 to your URL. The ones that we're going to fill right now are going to be the logo, the menu placement, which is this location here, which is not displaying the outline currently, the search box, top A, and the copyright. The reasons we're focusing on those ones alone is because they're either shown globally across the entire site or only on this main page. Let's go back to the Module Manager and place that main menu. Once the main menu module loads, we're only going to change a couple of things in here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change Show Title to Hide. While there will be many occasions where you will want the title to show for your modules, this isn't one of them. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the position. And this can be done one of two ways. The first way is you can simply select the text that's in here and manually input the text for the module position, which we're going to use menu in this case, or you can click the Select Position button. When you choose Select Position, a modal window is going to pop open that displays all the current positions for all the templates installed on your website. To make this easier, we're going to go to this drop-down menu on the far right, Select Template, and we're going to choose UMaster. Now we're only seeing the positions available for this template. If I had not already gone in and manually input it myself, I could scroll down in the list, find the menu position, and simply click on it. You'll also notice at the bottom of the page a menu assignment area. This is how you decide what pages your modules are going to be displayed on. Now this is the main menu module, so you want it displayed on all pages. The other options in here are no pages, only on the pages selected, or on all pages except those selected. Let's just go up and save this and see what happens. We've now placed our first module in our first module position. Now that we know that our main menu is in place and where we want it to be, I can either choose Save and Close or just Close. The next module I'll want to place is going to be the Search module. To create the new search module, we're just going to go up to the top and click on New. We're again presented with a modal window that presents all the default modules for Joomla. You'll notice in here that there's both a search and a smart search module. The difference being the smart search module, which is the one that we're going to be using, provides you with real-time searching similar to Google. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. Right now, we're just going to click Smart Search Module. First thing that we need to do is obviously populate the title. Search. Again, we're going to hide the show title because we don't need it to be shown. I'm going to click Select Position. You can see that we've already got the UMaster theme selected, and I'm going to put this into the search position. Again, I want it to show on all pages, so I'm going to leave the module assignment the same, and I'm going to go up and choose Save and Close. Let's do a quick refresh, and there we go. We've got our search field. Now that's not quite all we need to do to get the search functioning properly. Because we're using the Smart Search module, we also have to enable the Smart Search plugin. To do that, we're just going to go up to the Extensions menu, down to the Plugin Manager. I'm just going to go into the filter and type Search. Now we can see all the plugins for the website that contain the term search. Right up at the top, we've got Content Smart Search, and we'll notice that the status is disabled. I'm just going to click on that to enable it. That's all we needed to do. Let's head back to the Module Manager and add some new stuff. Next, let's place this big header graphic on the page. From the Module Manager, we're again going to click on New. When the modal window pops up, we're going to select Custom HTML. Once loaded, I'm going to give it a title. I'm just going to call it Header Graphic. I'm going to select Hide Title. I'm going to click Select Position, and I'm going to select Top A, as that's the position that we want to display this graphic in. Since we uploaded all our images ahead of time, to insert the image, we're going to click on the Insert Edit Image icon. When the window pops up, the first thing it asks for is the image URL. Because we put our images into that images folder, the first thing that we need to do for our URL is tell it to look inside that images folder. Next, we're going to tell it to look for that file name, which in this case is main-graphic.png. I'm going to give it an image description of Go Green because that's part of what we've got in the image already. Your image description should always be a short, no more than one sentence description of what you see in that image. This is not only helpful for your alt tags when images don't load, but it also helps with your accessibility. The next thing that we're going to do is change our border to 0. And then we're going to click Insert. You can now see the image in the content editor. Before we do anything else, we're going to go to the menu assignment because we don't want this to show up on all pages. What we're going to do is switch it to only on the pages selected. So we only want it to show up on the home page. We're going to go up, we're going to click Save, then we're going to switch over and refresh. Now we can see that the image is displayed on our screen. We'll also notice that there's a thin gray border going around the image as well. This is because all the module positions have a default styling associated with them. In our final product, we'll see that there is no border around it. We're going to switch back to the Module Manager. See, this is why I only clicked Save instead of Save and Close, because I knew I was going to do some additional editing once I checked it out. On the right-hand side, we're going to pop open the Advanced Options. Under the Advanced Options, you'll see a Module Class Suffix box. If you wanted to create some custom CSS classes for certain things inside your website, you could apply it to modules directly using this Module Class Suffix. The template that we're using from UTheme comes with some additional variations by default. The one that we're going to use for this is called Style Blank. We're going to start things out with a space, so if there's any other classes assigned to this area, they're not going to conflict with each other. I'm going to choose Style Blank, and then I'm going to choose Save. When we refresh the page, we can see that that border is no longer there. Our website's starting to look a little bit like the final product. Now that we've placed that image and removed that additional border, I can go ahead and click Save and Close. Moving down on the page, we've also got this client login that we want to place, but we're going to place that later once we've got all our menus in place. We're going to do that because this client login shows up on two pages, the home page and the Contact Us page. Currently, the Contact Us page doesn't exist at all, so we can't place that on there. We're going to do that one a little bit later. Next up, we're going to place these 3 informational boxes as well as the Featured In at the bottom of the page. Going back to the Module Manager, we're going to go up, click New, and we're going to select Custom HTML again. Because I've already provided you with all the files with the content in it, we're going to switch back to our files. We're going to open up the first one, the Customize Your Build, copy, switch back. First going to give it a title. Now the reason I've gone and given them titles in caps is because I want them to display in caps on that main page. We're going to go and click Select Position, and for these boxes we're going to place all 3 of them into bottom A. We're going to go down to our editor and click the HTML button. When the editor pops up, we're going to paste our code in. Looking at this piece of code, you'll notice the familiar paragraph tag that we've seen before, but you're also going to see the image tag. If you'd like to learn more about adding images to your website manually using HTML, simply search HTML images on Google and you'll find many results. Now that we've pasted, click Update. So we can see our image and our text has loaded in here. So we're going to go down to the menu assignment and make sure it's set to on all pages because these will be displayed on all pages. We're just going to go up to the top, we're going to click Save. We're going to switch back to our main page, refresh, and we can see that our first info box is showing up. Now that we've seen that this first box is placed correctly and has the correct information, I'm just going to click Save and New. And we're going to go through the same process again. We're going to switch to our files, open up Experience Planners, copy the information, switch back, give it a title, make sure the show title is set to show. We're going to select that bottom A position again, go down to the editor, click the HTML button. When the source window opens, we're going to paste, click Update, make sure it's displaying correctly, make sure the menu assignment is set to on all pages, and I'm going to click Save and New again. For our final box, we're going to repeat this one more time. I'm going to open up the Right Tools for the job file, copy the text, going to give it a title, show the title, select the bottom A position again, back to the editor, click the HTML button, paste our code, click Update, Review, make sure our assignment's on all pages, and save and close. Back at the Module Manager, we can see that all 3 of those modules are in the bottom A position and are all published and ready to go. If we switch back to our main page and hit refresh, we can see that all 3 info boxes are equally spaced with their information and images stored inside. Let's go back and we'll create that featured in. Again, we're going to use custom HTML. The title is simply featured in. We're going to leave the show title as show. The position for this module, we're going to set to bottom B. We've already got 3 modules in the bottom A position, and we don't want to cram that up, especially with a full width module like this one. I'm going to switch over and open up our featured in text, copy, switch back to the editor, click on the HTML button, and paste our code in. So we can see here we've just got some basic text here that's centered. If I go up and choose save, refresh the page, we can see it displayed on the page. We can also notice that the text is quite a bit bigger than the last text that we pasted in, and we also notice that we've got that gray box going around it again. Let's go back to the module. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the advanced options, into that module class suffix, and I'm going to put the style blank in. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how we've gone and made that text bigger. I'm just going to clear this out and manually type it in so you can see how it's done. So the text that was in here, we're going to type in quickly. So we've got our text in there. I'm now going to highlight it. I'm going to go up to this drop-down menu that currently says Paragraph. I'm going to select Heading 2 instead. You'll notice that it didn't make much of a change in the editor itself, but when I save it and refresh the main page, you can see that that text is now much larger than the default paragraph text. The reason for that is because we've given it a heading tag instead of a paragraph tag. If we go back into that HTML editor, instead of that familiar P tag, we see an H2 tag. You can think of header tags just as you'd think of a newspaper. When you look at the front page of a newspaper, that first heading is usually the biggest and the boldest. That would be an H1 tag. As you get more into HTML, you'll understand when and where you can use these properly. I'm just going to click cancel because I don't want to make any changes here. As we noticed when I refreshed the page last time, this text wasn't centered. I'm simply going to select it, hit the align center button, and we can see it aligns fine here. And we can see it aligns in the editor. I'm going to go up and click save, switch back to our main page, and hit refresh. Not only is our text being presented in the header to method now, but it's also centered on the page. I'm going to switch back. I'm going to click save and new. We're now going to put the copyright information at the bottom of the page. I'm just going to name this footer copyright because it's the copyright information that's going to go in the footer. Always make sure you name your modules accordingly so you can find them easier later. In this case, we don't want the title to show, so I'm going to switch to hide. I'm going to select position. I'm going to navigate down and I'm going to find the footer position. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my copyright information directly into the field. I'm going to say that it's copyright Home Builder Corporation. This is another instance of a module that you want displayed on all pages. We're going to go and click Save and Close. Refresh, and we've now got our copyright information at the bottom of the page as well. If we go back to the top of the page, however, we're still missing our logo and our social icons. Back to the Module Manager again. We're going to go New, Custom HTML, and this one we're going to call Logo. We want to hide the title. For the position, we want to choose the logo position. Go down to our editor, and I'm going to click the Insert Image button again. I already know that I need to tell it to look inside the Images folder, and within that Images folder, I want it to find the homebuilder-logo.png file. I'm going to set this description to be Home Builder Corp, and again, switch the border to 0. I'm going to click Insert. We want to ensure this module shows up on all pages, and click Save, switch back to our page, refresh, there's our logo. Let's go back, add the social icons. We're going to do Save and New again. Give it a title of Social Icons. We're going to hide this title. The position that I want to select in is called Header Bar. I've already provided the code for this, so we're going to go back to that main page content and open up Social Icons. We're going to copy, switch back, click the HTML button, and paste our code. We'll see here that we've got a new tag called the div tag. I'm using a div tag in place of the paragraph tag that we've seen before. The reason I'm doing this is because a paragraph tag actually has invisible space on the top and the bottom to ensure your paragraphs are spaced properly. I don't want additional spaces around my social icons, so I'm using a div tag because there's no default spacing around it. Inside that div, I've placed 3 images, one for each of the social icons, and each of those images are wrapped in an anchor tag. The anchor tag is what makes it an actual link. So when you click on it, it takes you somewhere different. Now, because this is a fictional company and I don't have any actual links to click forward to, I've simply used the pound symbol. In HTML, anytime that you have a link that you don't need to actually go anywhere at the time being, simply use the pound sign. We're going to click on update. We can see that it's placed those 3 images in there. It's set to display on all pages. Let's go click save and see how it looks. Refresh, and our social icons are now displayed in the top right corner. You'll also notice that if you hover over the images, you get the little hand image indicating that it is indeed a link. Since I don't need to make any additional changes to the social icons, I'm simply going to click close. Moving forward, we're going to go back to the article manager, and we're going to start adding some additional articles.